And now, the Bigfoot Corporation, makers of quality tree sap extractor since 2015, the only tree sap extractor you'll ever need, proudly presents tonight's presentation of Dr. Francis Stein, Mad Domestic Scientist. This is the story of Dr. Francis Stein, a housewife by day and a mad scientist by midday. As today's episode begins, it is the weekend, and Frances is dutifully fulfilling her domestic responsibility of helping her husband Harold and their son Bobby, age 9, prepare for a day of flattened coin collecting.
Oh, Harold, I do hope you and Bobby enjoy your day out together.
I'm quite certain we shall, my dear. Come, Bobby. Those flattened coins won't collect themselves, you know. I'm coming, Daddy. We shall start down at the railroad tracks. Mischievous children are always laying coins on the tracks to watch the trains flatten them as they pass.
I wish the two men in my life an affectionate goodbye.
Yes, and allow me to give you a peck on the cheek, my dear. With Harold and Bobby on their way, Frances turns her attention to her daughter, Sally, aged 9.
Oh, look, Sally. I believe I see your friend Angela coming down our walk. She's come to have a play date with you.
Hello, Mrs. Stein. Hello, Sally. Hello, Angela.
Why, Angela, what a lovely red bow you have in your hair.
Thank you, Mrs. Stein. It sets off my eyes rather well, don't you think?
Now, girls, I've asked Mrs. Podgy to watch the two of you while I go out and do some shopping. What's so funny, girls?
Excuse our impertinence, Mother, but the sight of Mrs. Podgy brings to mind a big, old, fat bullfrog.
Now, girls, it's not nice to make fun. She's a very nice lady. Oh, and here she is now. Good morning, Mrs. Podgy.
Oh, good morning, Frances. And now, don't you worry one bit, my dear. The girls and I will have a whale of a time.
I'm sure you will. Oh, Mrs. Podgy, is that a new perfume you're wearing?
Why, yes, it is. It's called An Evening in Budapest.
It's quite, distinct. Now, girls, I expect you to mind Mrs. Podgy while I'm gone.
Yes, Mummy. Yes, Mrs. Stein.
And so, Frances leaves for her weekly shopping.
Everything is taken care of. My husband Harold and our son Bobby are occupied collecting flattened coins. Our daughter Sally is having a play date with her friend Angela, under the capable supervision of Mrs. Podgy. And my obedient and submissive servant Boris is busy dutifully guarding the beaker which contains my latest experiment. It's a multi-strength furniture polish that will guard our home's wooden furnishings twice as long as the leading brand, which will cut down on the time I must spend polishing. Time I will be able to devote to my avocation as a mad domestic scientist. Ha ha ha!
After her shopping is done, Frances returns home.
Mrs. Podgy? I've returned. Mrs. Podgy? Perhaps she took the girls into the backyard to play. It was such a nice day, it'd be a shame not to take advantage of it. What's this? Why, it's a big, old, fat bullfrog, right here in our kitchen. I wonder how it got into the house. I should probably hold on to it. I've been wanting to experiment on changing frogs into princes. That could be useful in finding suitors for my of-age nieces. I shall put this bullfrog in the terrarium in my laboratory. What's this? Why, I see Sally in the backyard playing with a kitten. But I don't see Mrs. Podgy or Sally's friend Angela anywhere. Now this is quite odd. Sally? Sally, my dear, please come in here.
Look, Mummy, a kitten. May I keep it?
We can discuss that in short order, my darling. But first, where's your friend Angela and Mrs. Podgy?
They're not here, Mummy. They're sort of gone.
Yes, well, that's obvious, my dear. I can understand if Angela had to return home for some reason, but Mrs. Podgy should not have left you alone.
She didn't, Mummy. I have my kitten.
Well, I fear I shall have to have a stern word with her.
May I keep the kitten, Mummy? May I?
Well, yes, I suppose you may.
Oh, thank you, Mummy. Thank you.
Now run along. Hello? What's this? The door to my secret laboratory is open. Oh, this is not good.
Entering her secret laboratory, Frances found everything quiet. She also found the beaker containing her latest experiment, a multi-strength furniture polish, was empty.
This is intolerable. Boris, you incompetent underling, what have you done? I commanded you to guard this beaker with your lowly subpar life and you failed me. Boris! Boris? Boris, where are you? Now, where did this dog come from? Down, boy, down. I must say you're quite clumsy and overbearing. You remind me of my subservient minion, Boris. Wait a second. Could it be... Boris, is that you? Boris, have you been transformed into a dog? Did you drink my new experiment? The one I had in the beaker you were supposed to guard? Oh, but of course. I fear that was a rather imbecilic move on your part, my lowly servant. While I was shopping, I realized that my substitution of sodium benzoate for silicon benzoate was a big mistake. I realized that rather than producing a superior wood polish that would give wood a clear, clean shine, I'd created a formula that would alter the genetic structure of any creature that drank it. I am grateful to you for having proven me correct in that analysis. Unfortunately, your proving of my hypothesis has caused you to become a dog. But as excited as I am to hear that I've once again been proven to be a genius, I'm sorely disappointed that you would so blatantly disobey me. I mean, that is the most rational explanation for your current predicament. After all, it's not like my daughter Sally would have discovered my secret laboratory and entered through this door that I found opened, and she certainly couldn't have come upon this beaker with my latest experiment in it, and she wouldn't have wondered what it was, and it isn't likely that, finding you lurking about the room, she wouldn't have satisfied her curiosity by ordering you to drink it, and that you, in the habit of being submissive, wouldn't have felt compelled to simply obey her. It's not like all of that could have happened. I'm severely disappointed in you, Boris. Bad boy. Bad boy, Boris. Well, I fear I shall have to punish you. Let me see. Oh, I know. This should teach you a lesson. Here, boy, drink this. This liquid will turn you into a welcome mat. Perhaps a few weeks of having us wipe our feet on you will teach you a lesson. Very good. Oh, look at this. Why, Boris, even as a doormat you're incompetent. You've misspelled welcome. You have a T where the M should be. Well, first let me place this bullfrog I found in the kitchen into the terrarium. That's odd. This bullfrog smells remarkably like Mrs. Podgy. I believe that perfume was called An Evening in Budapest. That's interesting. Now, come along, Boris, my disobedient doormat. I shall take you and place you at our front door. In fact, I believe I shall be the very first to wipe my dirty shoes on you.
And so, with her newfound frog safely put away for further experimentation, and her faithful servant Boris sat at her front door to well-coat all of her guests, Frances returns to the kitchen to begin preparing dinner for her family. As she walks into the kitchen, she sees Sally serving her new kitten a saucer of milk.
Isn't she just the cutest kitten, Mummy?
Yes, she is. And isn't she wearing the most lovely red bow?
It sets off her eyes rather well, don't you think, Mummy?
Yes. I wonder...